Hello, welcome to the City of Albuquerque's Better Health Program. My name is Rochelle Carmen, and I'm the Health and Wellness Program Coordinator for the City's Insurance and Benefits Division of the Human Resources Department. I manage the employee wellness program called Better Health that was established to provide employees and their dependents a pathway to pursue a healthy lifestyle. The program includes health education, wellness interventions, and campaigns to make healthy lifestyles easier at work. The mission of the program is to identify and provide effective resources to employees and their families regarding modifiable risk factors for cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hypertension, and cancer related to physical inactivity, poor nutrition, inadequate sleep, and tobacco use. The program has more than 50 employee volunteers called Better Health Ambassadors who are wellness champions and advocates for healthy living no matter where they are in their personal health journeys. Better Health Ambassadors serve as liaisons between the Better Health program and employees in their department, promoting health and well-being by engaging and encouraging staff in wellness initiatives. Hello, my guest today is the City of Albuquerque Municipal Development Director, Patrick Montoya. Welcome, Pat.
Chanel, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Your bio is pretty impressive. The Cabinet Secretary for the state of New Mexico,
Correct.
Senate aide for Jeff Bingaman, and several leadership positions within the City of Albuquerque, including your current one with municipal development. One of the key initiatives of the city's Better Health program is to engage leader participation to help foster a culture of wellness for city employees, their families, and dependents. This past year with COVID and now the Delta variant has created a barrier for many people to engage in healthy behaviors. How has COVID impacted your role as a leader of one of the largest departments in the city?
Well, we've definitely felt the impact of COVID, not only in this building and the several buildings that we manage, but out in the field as well. And I think one of the things that we've had to address as leaders within the department is how do we motivate and create a work environment for our employees that fosters a sense of well-being, a sense of togetherness, a sense of looking out for my fellow employee as well as the citizens that I represent. And because of that, we've had to adjust at every level. We had to adjust on how we drive a vehicle, who rides in a vehicle, how we come to work in the morning, how we are screened, how we come into a building, how we expose ourselves to others as far as are we in a healthy position. I mean, just this morning we had another couple of individuals that tested positive and had to send them home almost immediately. So it has been a big adjustment. I think that we have made every effort within, because facilities is part of our department, to make sure that we have cleansed every office as much as possible, that we have we encourage correct and good hygiene, that we place the materials, the hand washing solutions and paper towels and things of that sort within the building. And then we've also we've changed our janitorial service, and we've encouraged them to work in an environment that makes it healthy for the people that work in that building as well. So we've made substantial changes. Have we finished? Of course not. We constantly are looking at ways to make those changes throughout not only City Hall, Plaza del Sol, Pino Yards, but all city facilities that are owned by the city of Albuquerque. And right now we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 285 buildings. So there are a lot of places where people can meet and be exposed to the bad things. So.
Wow, that's a lot of facilities to maintain.
It is.
How does your leadership role within the City of Albuquerque reflect the Better Health initiatives?
So I've always been one that I like to lead by example. I have an open door policy for my employees, people that I've worked with, and I think that in itself makes a big difference as far as how people feel comfortable in situations where there are matters that they might need to discuss. I'm a very healthy, proactive person when it comes to health. I use the gym, not every day, I wish I could, but I do that. I walk my dogs. Within our building itself, thanks to your efforts and your predecessor, we encourage people to use the stairwell as much as possible. We have signs that allow you to, what kind of laps can you take in the building? If someone needs to set aside 30 minutes extra during their lunch hour for exercise, we allow that. So I believe that we've created an environment within DMD, but I think citywide, that encourages employees to take better care of themselves and whatever that might mean. A good example with the insurance, I belong to 3 gyms just because of the insurance policy that we have. So it's kind of nice for me because I get to shop around. If I'm on my way home, this gym is a little easier to get to, or I go to another gym because the hours are much more convenient for me. That makes it better, and that makes it better for the employees and their families as well. So I think through efforts, having someone like you in the role that you play, and being passionate about a healthy environment, healthy people, healthy workplace, that only builds up the need to make it a better place to work.
Well, thank you. You mentioned that depending on where you are, you go to the gym. How do you practice self-care throughout the workday?
So, we're in a different environment, in a different world right now. So, it's unfortunate that we're not wearing masks at this minute, but that we catch ourselves having to just protect ourselves and protect the people that we're exposed to. So I think that one of the things is that we constantly remind people that, there are mandates, there are conditions as far as when you work in this building, when you're in contact with the general public, when you're in a vehicle on your own. So I think it's just a matter of making sure that the workforce is aware of what conditions are placed on them, what conditions are placed on the buildings that they're going into, but especially the risks or the chances that they might take if they don't practice safe health habits, because you not only expose the community, you not only expose the constituents that we're working with, but you also expose your family. And so many of our employees, DMD has 653 employees. So I would imagine that we've got almost every age group in there, from in their early 20s probably up into the late 60s or so. We have so many members so many employees that have young families. And we experienced that during COVID, where childcare was a big issue. So no one wants to take a virus, no one wants to take an unhealthy situation back to the loved ones that you have. So we try to encourage people to practice, make sure that whatever measures you take are in the best interest of yourself first, but also because of the fact that you're exposing yourself to other people that could come in contact with whatever. And it doesn't have to be just the virus that we're experiencing, a bad cold or just some infection of some sort that might make someone that is a little more vulnerable, I guess, and put them in a situation that's not good.
Very nice. Thank you. Who were the most influential leaders in your life and why?
So, I have to think about that. So I can't say that I've had one person that really stood out. My grandfather came here from Italy. He was a self-made businessman. He came here with nothing other than a suitcase, went back to Italy and married my grandmother and moved to Wyoming, started the coal mines, and then ended up in a small community called Cerrillos, which is just out of Santa Fe. And over the course of time, someone that had nothing in his back pocket managed to own a grocery store, a boarding house, a feedlot, a coal mine, a ranch, and a dance hall and a bar. So I always look at him as someone that if he could do it, not even speaking a word of English. We grew up speaking Italian before we even spoke English in my home. But I have to say that aside from him, I think people that I've worked with over the course of time is where I've learned values and responsibility, and making sure that I lead by example, and that I set an example for my children, and hopefully other family members and other individuals. But I can't say that I had a role model. I think that when I was with the state of New Mexico, with the governor's office, I was very impressed with staff there. So I think you pick up from people that you work with. You can either mold them or work with them in order to better their way of managing, I guess. But by the same token, I think you can pick up bits and pieces that make you a better manager. So in general, not one person, as a whole, people that I've worked with over the course of time.
I've worked with you in the past, and I agree that you
Thank you.
definitely have made an impact on people
Well, thank
and
you.
your staff.
Thank you.
How can City of Albuquerque leaders create a culture of well-being within their department for their staff?
Okay. And again, I think it is it's an effort. It's an effort coming from the very top, working its way through the system. So with that in mind, I think that the leadership that we currently have, from the 11th floor all the way down to the basement. When I go to directors meetings and when I go just to division managers meetings, or I work hand in hand with so many of the directors, I think that in general all of us have the same goals, and we want to achieve the same. We want to make Albuquerque a better place than when we leave. That's our objective. So part of that is making sure that we provide an environment for our employees that is healthy, happy, and is workable for all. And we've got personalities, and people just rub each other the wrong way many times. And I think as leaders, you have to take that into account, and you have to learn how to work with folks and draw the best that you can from them. Those that are more difficult to work with, I think, are the challenges that all of us have. So when I think at the end of the day, and I had this discussion with one of my fellow directors just on Monday, where the stress levels for his job have risen to a point where it's starting to affect his health. And I think you have to figure out, where are the balances? Where do I leave work at work and go home, and then where do I leave home at home and not bring it to work? And so if you can balance all of that and still come to work and make it a good environment, and look at the strengths that some individuals have and the weaknesses that others have, that I think you can draw from that. So in general, I think just being a leader that is healthy yourself and know how to make that environment better for everyone, I think is probably the key here.
That's really good advice. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you, the viewers, found today's information beneficial and are encouraged to participate in the Better Health initiatives. Until next time, be well, be healthy.